Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife video for you. Today, we have the opposite of the last time I did one of these kind of screen record videos. I talked about my most disappointing knives of 2020. Today, we're going to have a happy one. We're going to talk about my biggest pleasant surprises of 2020, my most surprising knives of 2020. These are all knives that I either wasn't expecting to like at all or just wasn't expecting to like as much as I did. And some of them, three of them are actually just surprising because they're just greater than the sum of their parts. So let's get going with it. With no further ado, sorry for the little off-center intro thing. You'll see why, because when I click on the next tab, then it's all centered up, you see? So that's why it was off-center like that. First up would be the Spyderco Canis. Great knife. I was not at all looking forward to it based on the pictures, not a bit, and the price. It's 192 bucks. Not at all inexpensive for S30V steel and G10. This is a Tai Chung made model. But once I got it in my hands, wow, it is an impressive knife. I don't think I'm alone in saying that. I think a lot of people would put this on their most surprising knives of the year list. It's just a fantastic slicer. That Warncliffe with that little hollow grind on it, holy crap. That thing will slice through just about anything. It is a fantastic knife. Well, not like steel, but you know what I mean. A cardboard stuff just glides through just about anything. It is just a fantastic knife, and at 192 bucks, I like it. I still own it. Actually, still own all the knives on this list but one, or this wouldn't be a screen record video. Next up would be, and these are in absolutely no particular order, would be the CIVIVI Orpheus. This really blew me away. 40 bucks, very reasonable price, and it's FRN handles, 9CR18 MOV steel. It's a CIVIVI. It's got the usual CIVIVI action and all that stuff. But man, this is a very remarkable knife that is in no way remarkable when you break down its parts. You know, it's FRN handles, but it's really nice FRN. 9CR18 MOV, I love that stuff, but, you know, some people prefer the CIVIVI D2, and that's what they've been doing more of lately. So it was nice to see some more 9CR ones come out again recently. But, man, I do very much like this knife. Still got that CIVIVI action. Yeah, it's remarkable for its unremarkableness, and it's going to be really hard to beat for Knife of the Year. And this is one that I kind of just got because I think you guys actually asked me to review it. I probably was going to, but it wasn't like a priority. But I snapped one up. Man, am I glad that I did. They come in a whole bunch of different configurations and stuff, so you can find your color or whatever you want. There's even a Damascus carbon one, I do believe. Next up would be the Riat Bushido, or what I flubbed and called the Shibuti. But I'm going to click to all the links down below of all the reviews of all these knives if you want to check them out. But this is combined with the Riat Coyote, another Riat that I liked a lot, but not nearly as much as the Bushido. The Bushido is a knife that I'll be keeping for a very long time. It's $238. Not too crazy for a Riat, I don't think. And it's just an awesome little front flipping gentleman's knife. I love the looks of it. This happens to be in the Burlite micarta. They are sold out most everywhere right now, but it is a regular production Riat model. There will be more of them. But man, just a great, like, heavy duty liner lock is the best way to describe how Riat does liner locks. I love the way Riat does liner locks. I think they're fantastic. The action is always superb, but I never had a front flipper one, and this one works awesomely well. Next up, this is the most recent edition because it's literally the last review that I did, and I've only had it for about a week. But this is the Real Steel Real Slim. A unique look, to be sure, and a unique knife. Very slim. I think it was 0.22 inches in the handle thickness and 0.08 blade, but is also very thin behind the edge. VG10 steel, stainless steel, liner lock. You're looking at right about a little under 50 bucks for this. So yeah, not too shabby at all. It's just a very unique knife, but man, great little slicer. It's supposed to harken back to like old French gentleman's knives of times long gone by, but it works really well in those kind of things, cutting cheese, all that kind of stuff. But it also just works as really great EDC. And wow, best letter opener I've ever had in my entire life for sure. Next up, Cold Steel Airlight. This is a knife that, to a point, even more so than the Orpheus from before. This is $85, by the way. AUS 10A steel G10. those stats aren't mind-blowing, but I think maybe even slightly more so than the Ortis. It is greater than the sum of its parts. This is the Tanto version. Cold Steel does an amazing Tanto. If you remotely like Tantos and the Cold Steel knife that you were buying has the option to get in the Tanto form, do that because they make a fantastic Tanto. But I really, really, really like this knife. It is lightweight. It's not as lightweight as some other stuff in its range. It's not as cheap as some other stuff in its range. AUS 10A, anything that says AUS, people don't like very much. But wow, Cold Steel does a whole lot of good with their AUS 10A. You're going to see another one coming up here towards the end of this. Just a fantastic knife that, again, is just greater than the sum of its parts. And I really, really, really enjoy it. It's one that I have no intention of getting rid of anytime soon at all. Next one up. This is a knife that has just been greatly improved by some changes. So I've always loved the Kizer Gemini. It's a Ray Laconico design. I think one of his best. And I just love the ergos. I love the blade shape. I loved everything about it. But I had the titanium one at first. Really slippery. Always wanted to fall out of my hands all the time. It's the only knife that I've ever had that I really agreed with people when they said it was slippery and they felt like they were going to drop it. I kind of felt like I was going to drop it a lot. When I first reviewed it, I was a very, very inexperienced YouTuber. I didn't make a big deal about it. But the more I had it, I really felt that way. They slapped this micarta on it, made it a lot cheaper. This is a Vanguard version, so I believe it's N690. I can't remember what the steel is on it. I'm sorry if I'm wrong about that. But it's only $75 in these micarta handles. It's a lot lighter weight than the titanium one. Just that little bit of grip. I think it looks better than the titanium one. It's way cheaper at $75. I think the Thai ones were over $200. I truly enjoy this knife. It just made me fall in love with the Gemini all over again. So much so that I have another one that I'm going to do a video on probably early next week. But it is a special edition from a particular female knife modder, and I'm just trying to figure out how to do the video without my entire channel getting demonetized. So whenever I figure that out, you'll see a video about that, and the explanation will be more clear. Next up would be the Knives Gava. Okay, I expected to like this, but I really like it. Brzezinski design, Rafael Brzezinski. I've loved other stuff he's designed. The Wasabi is still like a knife I need to get back someday. I really need to get a Wasabi back. I love that thing, and now you can get them back again. It's a great, but this little thing is just a great knife. Little thing. It's a mid-sized thing. The Wasabi was always a little bit big. I probably wouldn't feel that way now because my tastes have evolved to where I like larger knives now. But this is just a perfect EDC size. Great action. I mean, it's that wee quality. I really like the finish I got on this one. I think it looks fantastic. And, man, it finds its way in my pocket a whole lot since I got it. It's just a remarkable knife. And priced not too horribly, $234. It's not insanely cheap, but it ain't too bad. I really do like this knife a whole lot. And, again, if you want to see more about it, reviews are all linked down below. Next up would be the Artisan Cutlery Centuri, another Ray Laconico design. I didn't even realize till just now. Ray's got two on here. Yeah, this is a front flipper, big old front flipper, and I kind of thought it might be a bit too big and, like, not thick width-wise, but thick height-wise for a front flipper. But you know what? It works really, really well. Really enjoy having this knife around. It's enjoyed. I did sell it, but I only sold it because there's a smaller one coming out, and I kind of want to try that. And, you know, I can't eat all my knives, so it had to go. But it is a fantastic knife. If I get another one, I might get a fancier one. This is kind of the mid-range one that's about $200. There are some fancier, like Damascus and stuff out there. I could be tempted by one of those. But I also want to try one of the new smaller ones. But it is an awesome knife. Really great front flipper action. One of the easiest I've ever seen. And I think that's the big surprise. Just looking at it, I thought this was going to be kind of a difficult front flipper. But nope, it's actually one of the easiest, even despite its size. Next up, you can add this along. It's another Spyderco. So you can add this along to the ugly Spydercos I loved in 2020 list. The Watu. Really cool knife. Oh, yeah, I guess there's two gone. I don't own this anymore either. But the Watu is just 20 CV, super slicey. It is ugly. There's no doubt about it. I mean, unless you have a pre-order on a Cybertruck, you're probably not too into that look. It does look better in person, I will say that for sure. But wow, this thing is slicey. Super, super slicey. Really good compression lock action on it. Another Tai Chung, not Tai Chung Spyderco. I guess we can further the list down even more. Ugly Spydercos from Tai Chung that I surprisingly liked in 2020. Yeah, just again has that peel ply carbon, a little shinier on this one than it is on the Canis, but just an awesome little laser beam of knife, a nice deep carry wire clip. You guys know I like that. And price on it is $182, so it's a little less than the Canis, but I really do like the Watu a lot, and very much recommend it if you can get past the looks. It's not a heavy duty knife. It's pretty thin blade stock, but it's a fantastic knife. And lastly, this is a knife that I have definitely gotten more than my $110 I paid for it of joy out of this thing. The Cold Steel 4MAX Scout. I bought it because I never had a 4MAX. I am a Cold Steel guy. I am getting to really like Cold Steels, but I hadn't really gone too crazy with the big Cold Steels. I since have, but this was definitely my gateway drug into that. I especially like how now Cold Steel is starting to make a lot of their big crazy knives in a FRN AUS 10A version that's very reasonably priced, and I think $110 is very reasonably priced for this, especially if you're paying by the ounce, because it's 10 ounces. It's a heavy knife, but it is just a big stonker, ridiculous knife. But man, do I enjoy it, and I do carry it. I still do to this day carry it sometimes. It's not that horrible to carry, other than the weight, obviously. Make sure your pants fit. That's definitely something, or you're wearing a belt or suspenders or whatever. Make sure your pants are secure, because it is pretty heavy. If you get excited and jump up and down because there's a sale at Walmart, you're probably going to get thrown out because everybody's going to see your wee-wee. But it is a fantastic knife. I do very much enjoy carrying it and doing just whatever the heck I want to with it. It's big and stupid, and like my wife a while ago, we had like this kind of office plant size tree downstairs, and it's probably about, I don't know, trunk's about 2 inches thick, 1.5 2 inches thick, and it was ill, and she read somewhere if she could just chop it off halfway and it'll grow back, and it has. It did work. It did work. It is sprouting again. But she said, "Do you have a big knife I can chop a tree with?" And I said, "I got you," and brought this down. So yeah, and it worked great for that, and she was just hacking at a tree, but it was pretty cool. But yeah, fantastic, fun, silly knife, but not that silly. It actually is pretty usable. Some of the other ones, like your Voyager XLs, your Counterpoint XL, yeah, those are kind of just silly. But this isn't just silly. This is actually a good usable knife. So that concludes my list. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I definitely really enjoy making these things. I think they're a lot of fun, these desktop ones. I do have another subject coming up for one that I'm going to be doing. I actually asked you guys just a few minutes before I started recording this in the community page. If you aren't a member of the community page, go check that out. I can actually show it to you right here. Go right there, and there is a little question there saying, what is you guys' favorite knife for folding pocket knife, EDC knife for under $150? I'll compile and I'll do a video of your top 10 or your top 5 probably choices for that. So go check that out. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. You'll see more of them in the future. I've been Brian. Have a good one.